Welcome back to In the Game. Now it's time to bring you up to speed with all happening at the 2025 African Cup of Nations. Remember, Morocco is hosting at this time, and we are bringing updates from Fairs, Super Eagles' camp, where they are based, and now would have to host the round of 16 March. 2026 is here upon us. Fairs Morocco did welcome the new year with calm, culturally rooted celebrations alongside with ongoing African Cup of Nations. As residents and visiting fans, they mark the occasion in restaurants, hotels and private gatherings rather than the large street parties. So we did not see any fireworks in Fairs. Unlike Agadir, Casablanca, where we saw fireworks at 12 a.m. to usher in the new year. The African Cup of Nations added a continental flavor to the festivities, bringing together supporters from across Africa, while heightened security remained in place around key areas to ensure safety. The competition continues. Remember that Fairs is also hosting a lot of national teams there, and security heightened to make sure that we don't have any situation around where these teams are based. For the Nigeria Super Eagles, Fairs has become a familiar base. The team observed New Year quietly in the camp, fully focused on preparations for the Afcon 2025 round of 16 March against Mozambique. Some players, they had little to say heading up into the build-up of that round of 16 encounter against Mozambique. And let's hear from them, as we did pick this from our correspondent Udoka Njoku, who brought us the interviews from Fairs.
To win all our 3 games, but another tournament starts. We're going through to the round of 16 and we can't get complacent. We have to keep it going.
I remember what happened to the last Afcon. This experience, you don't want to face it, And missing the World Cup also is what we suffered a lot, in our mentality and everything, So we want to use the Afcon to show that we are ready to be here and to play for Nigeria. So that's why we are ready for this Afcon.
Right now, to win the trophy is to win the African Cup of Nations and, God willing, bring it home.
You hear from the players. The big task ahead is to win that trophy, bring it home. But as Fairs balances tradition with hosting Africa's biggest football event, our correspondent Udoka Njoku is live in Fairs, and he will bring us updates from Nigeria's base. Udoka, thank you so much. Happy New Year to you. I know big celebration in Fairs, though not too loud, like that we saw in Agadir, Casablanca, in Rabat. But with the tournament at the moment ongoing, what security measures were noticeable across the city as fans welcome the new year in Fairs?
Thank you very much, Onyinyechi, for having me. Fairs, well, it's been quite silent here, silent celebrations. People celebrated the new year, going into the new year in their apartments, hotels, lounges, and all. Now, for the security, it is quite tight here. Nothing major happening in the streets of Fairs. Mostly, even at the stadium, it is closed at the moment because no activity is going on at the stadium, and the media center also closed as well. So Fairs is practically a silent city, where Casablanca and the likes of Rabat and Agadir, then I'm sure major celebrations will be going down right there. But here in Fairs, nothing really happening. People going about their business. A lot of shops are still closed. They're all closed. No one is celebrating anything here, but it's just on lockdown at the moment, and people going about their business like it's a normal day. It doesn't even feel like the 1st of January at all.
I think it's a quiet new year for them over there in Fairs. And looking at the fact that the temperature is a bit cold at the moment, people want to stay home and be cozy. So, Udoka, let's get updates from the Super Eagles' base. What is the latest from the camp in Fairs as preparations gets underway for the round of 16 against Mozambique? Can you give us the latest? You did meet up with training as of yesterday.
Yes, yesterday's training, well, it was shocking to see that Udoka did not get to partake in that training, although we know he had a knock. We saw him yesterday. We all thought he was going to be a part of it, but eventually he did not partake in the training yesterday. And for Ryan Alepioshu, he also still has a knock from that game against Uganda. And we're looking forward to see if Eddie Shell, we just got a message from the media officer saying that the team will be having a close training session today, tomorrow, and Saturday. But we're hoping that we'll get a chance to see the Super Eagles train again on Saturday. We'll get more updates from the media officer of the Super Eagles, promised a full day. But for injury concerns, only Ryan Allegation looks like he might not feature. And of course, as Desert will not get to feature in that game against Mozambique. But the boys are ready to go. They are poised for that game against Mozambique. But wants to take it one game at a time before thinking of the next game that will be in Marrakech.
I understand that Victor Osimhen and two other players were missing from the training session as at 31st of December 2025. What information do we have about their absence? You were at the training. Did you see Victor? And what are the other two names that were missing from training?
Victor Osimhen was at the training, but he didn't train. He had a flu. I'm sure a lot of conspiracy theory going on over social media. He doesn't have an injury. He only has. And we talked to a lot of journalists. He said, "Look, if you want me to talk to you, then we're ready to get the flu." So he was rested yesterday during the training. But of course, for Ryan Allegation and those are the other two names that were not on ground at the training yesterday. So these three names for Victor Osimhen, he was not involved. He was on ground, but he had a flu. The Desert was not involved because he had an injury. Ryan Allegation was nowhere close to the training ground. So these are the three names that did not partake in the training yesterday.
All right, with Ryan Allegation, of course, and also Cyril Dessers, we already heard after that game, the final group game there against Uganda, that they picked up knocks. Now, given the absence of these players, what precautionary measure, I beg your pardon, do you predict Coach Shell is about to take heading up into this round of 16 encounter with two men down?
Right, we were all looking forward to seeing the Cyril Dessers and Paul Onachi combination in that game against Uganda, but sadly, it did not get to happen. But I think the Super Eagles, with what we saw against Uganda, I believe that the Super Eagles have enough in their tank to unleash against Mozambique, because in our attacking position, we have the likes of Victor Osimhen, there's Paul Onachi, there's Akko Adams there, Ademola Lookman on the wing, there's Moses Simon, there's Chukwueze, of course, in the midfield as well. There's Bruno Nimichi, there's Frank Onyeka, Alex Iwobi, Wilfred Ndidi. So I think we have quality enough to go up against Mozambique. Yes, fans here are looking. While the journalists are saying, look, there was a time we actually finished top of the group and crashed out in the quarterfinals, but I don't think that will be the case against Mozambique when we get to play them in the round of 16. So the Super Eagles have enough in their tank and firepower to go further in this tournament. And you can tell right from where we're starting, a lot of Moroccans have been saying hello to us, Happy New Year, saying welcome to Morocco, and they love the Super Eagles of Nigeria.
All right, thank you so much for that update, Udoka Njoku, our sport correspondent who is live in Fez, Morocco, the Super Eagles base. I'm wishing you the very best of the 2026. You have to do 2026 away from home, but I'm sure that you're enjoying every moment over there in Fez. Have a good one. All right, back to the studio here. The gentlemen, you've heard the updates from Fez. You know that we're trying to just count the eggs in the baskets. We already have two men down. Let's see if we can protect all the eggs and not let the eagle come take them away, even though we are the Super Eagles of Nigeria. All right, with two men down, we're saying, okay, is it a depleted squad already? Or would you say the two men were down, not really as, they won't pose too much selection problem for Coach Eric Shell, Judechi?
I do not think so. Yes, of course, they are integral part of the team, but I like what I saw in our last game. And during the World Cup qualifiers, we had the issue of the over-reliance on Victor Osimhen.
Okay.
And it looks
would you
like,
say we have moved past that
I wouldn't say
dependence?
we have moved past. I would say we are on the right path, right? And it's moments like this you feel, okay, if a member of the team gets injured, oh, yes, we would really miss him. So, yes, maybe Cyril Dessers and Alebio, so their injuries is going to really hurt the team, but hopefully it doesn't. If anything, we've seen every member of the team is really ready to fight for the team. Really
ready. Let's talk about Victor Osimhen. Wale Scott, I'll bring you in here. He closed 2025 with 46 goals for Galatasaray, ranking joint 5th globally alongside Lionel Messi for Inter Miami. Now, the Nigerian striker's prolific tally highlights his status among elite forwards behind Kylian Mbappe at 66 goals, Harry Kane at 60 goals, and Erling Haaland at 57 goals. Kevin Hernandez and also Puerto Rico SSC sits fourth with 48 goals, showing top-level finishing extends beyond Europe. Osimhen's performance reinforces his position as Africa's leading striker and confirms Nigeria's continued production of world-class forwards. The top 10 also includes Vangelis Pavlidis, Bissouli, and not forgetting Cristiano Ronaldo and Jorge Rivera, reflecting the globally diverse goal-scoring year in the world of football. Osimhen's output strengthens his reputation and signals his influence in discussions of the world's best attacking talent. Now, with this hype, I have given Victor Osimhen. Have we seen Victor Osimhen at the African Cup of Nations, Wale?
No, well, honestly, there's this guy that always sends me messages. I feel like he hates me, really, because he says he criticizes me. The last time he took on me, it was when I said I believe the two most skillful players that God gifted the gift of football was Ronaldinho and Gigi Okocha. And the guy was like, can I call Gigi Okocha? I said, to me, he's the second most skillful player in the world, if you ask me. And then last week on this show, I said, as far as I'm concerned, watching Victor Osimhen so far at the Nations Cup, it shows that, for me, he is the best box-to-box assassin in the world right now. That was my opinion. And the guy was like, Osimhen. Those people that believe that like, nothing good can come out of Nigeria, you know? And this has vindicated me.
The guy a Nigerian?
Obviously. And this has vindicated me. Artist Osimhen is in the record book of the highest goal scorers in the year 2025.
Okay, let's talk about the Afcon. Yeah. Is he putting that to test at the Afcon for someone who has been in the record book of the top scorers?
Let's get something clear.
But we're not seeing him. Look at the top scorers charts at the African Cup of Nations at the moment. Brian Diaz, with 3 goals, is topping the list. And he's got El Kabi with 3 goals, Riyad Mahrez from Algeria with 3 goals, Ademola Lookman, no Osimhen in there. Osimhen may be fantastic in club, but we're not seeing it.
No, the truth be said, for me, on that field of play for the Nations Cup, for the Super Eagles, Osimhen is one, if not the only player with the most patriotism. 100% he puts into it.
So even if he gets, he has this patriotism and he's not scoring, he's still good.
Yes.
There's no cause for concern.
If a striker doesn't score, but he creates problem for the defense, that's good enough. At least while creating problems, the other strikers have a chance to actually score their goals. Don't forget, in the history of the Nations Cup, Osimhen has gotten 3 goals allowed now by VAR. Yeah, 3 goals. So if the VAR did not do that, it should be
4 in total.
It will be on that list. 4 in total. 4 in total. So he's actually he's trying to score. Yes, unfortunately, VAR comes to the rescue of the other team, but he is doing what he's paid to do: score goals. While he's not scoring goals, he's causing problems for the defense to give other strikers. Get something clear. Apart from Lookman, who has created more assists with our goals in Nations Cup, Osimhen is second. So which means while he's not scoring, he's creating problems for other scorers, strikers to score. That's good enough by me.
Jidechi?
That's good enough.
I mean, he does have a very strong point there, but I think where the question is coming from is in terms of legacy in years to come, right? And it wouldn't be a good look that eventually one of the greatest African strikers of all time could not dominate, in quotes, a particular Afcon. But here's something I would say, right? This Afcon is not done, right? This is still the group stage we just concluded. We are still about to get into the knockout stages. Anything could happen. It's not also Osimhen's last Afcon. We have Mohamed Salah in the top scorers chart. We've not had a Mohamed Salah Afcon, but he's gotten to 2 finals, right? So you wouldn't particularly say, oh, because Salah have not had his own Afcon, like you would say Lionel Messi had the 2022 World Cup. You wouldn't particularly say Salah has not performed for Egypt at the Afcon. He has taken them to 2 finals. So Osimhen is not playing his last Afcon. He just turned 27. So there's still time. There's still the 2027 Afcon.
But this was the same, there's still time we said, and Osimhen is not heading to the World Cup.
The world have not ended.
Okay,
Osimhen is not retired yet, so anything could still happen.
All right, let's cut him some slack. We still have the round of 16 and knockout stage there to see more of Victor Osimhen. Yes, Wale is saying he could get a hat-trick. Let's take him for his word. Away from that, we had some matches wrap up from other groups at the African Cup of Nations. Reigning champions, Côte d'Ivoire, they finished top of Group F at the African Cup of Nations. I'm hoping I see that standing over there. after urging Cameroon on goals scored as the group stage they concluded on Wednesday. Both teams ended on 7 points, but the Ivorians claimed first place after a dramatic 3-2 comeback win over Gabon. While Cameroon secured 2-1 victory over Mozambique, Côte d'Ivoire overturned a 2-goal deficit in Marrakesh, reducing the gap before halftime and completing a turnaround late on to set them top on the sport. Cameroon also recovered after falling behind in Agadir, leveling before the break and striking again in the second half to finish runners-up. The final standing sets up the last 16 ties, with Côte d'Ivoire facing Burkina Faso and Cameroon meeting South Africa. That last 16 ties gives me a little bit of concern. Now, in the whole group stage, we had only Nigeria and Algeria finishing with 9 points. And there's something about Nigeria and Algeria, whenever they finish with clean, they finish clean in their groups, they always get eliminated in the round of 16. We do not want this to happen a second time. But here are the matchups for the round of 16. Senegal takes on Sudan, and that game, I would want to fix my gaze on that game because Sudan made it here miraculously. And they are the stellar team, Cinderella team, as I would call them, because their coach has really fought for this team, believed in this team, and right now they're in the round of 16 of an Afcon. But they face Senegal, and Senegal are looking like they're not waiting for anyone. They're ready to take on any team that comes their way. Mali takes on Tunisia. Morocco, the host, takes on Tanzania. South Africa against Cameroon. Egypt will see Benin Republic. And remember, Benin Republic being coached by our former Super Eagles coach, Genetro, who is also, they're a very dicey team heading into this round of 16. Nigeria see Mozambique. Algeria against DR Congo. Côte d'Ivoire, the reigning champion. They will be up against Burkina Faso. Now, looking at these games, I've been able to pick, some dicey ones there. Let's begin with Wallace Court. Which of them do you think will be very, very dicey, very, very feisty?
I don't know. You just said that Sudan have a Cinderella run. Well, against Senegal, this is where the fairy tale ends. Really. And then Egypt against...
What if they shock you?
It's not going to happen. Egypt against Benin Republic, this is where Benin's fairy tale ends.
Ends also.
My only problem is, I like what Alex Iwobi said a few minutes ago on the show.
Okay.
He said, we've just finished one tournament. We're starting a new one. I like the attitude. The attitude that we're going to the new one. This is the new tournament we're playing now. Let's face it. Now, Mozambique, actually, were not that bad. They lost to Côte d'Ivoire by just 1 goal, 1-0. They actually lost to Cameroon 2-1. Now, Cameroon's first goal, the equalizer, was an own goal by Mozambique defender. Then the second goal, they got to score it. With Mbuemo and all his stunts that he came to play, it still didn't happen. And same Mozambique, when they got their 1 goal, it was by Hamad Diallo, the heartbeat of the Ivorian team. So honestly, truth be said, Mozambique might just be a problem. Like the second player in the Super Eagles said, he said, complacency sometimes sets in. I want to correct him. It always sets in the Super Eagles. After a while, we get a team, we feel they're not important, and then we become complacent.
Okay, let's see. Let's see permutations right now. Who is poised to lift this trophy? I hope it's not too early to talk about that. Permutations show that Morocco are favorites to lift this trophy. By calculations, if they round of 16, it's looking like 100 because whatever team they're going to face.
Let me make you laugh. There was a particular Nations Cup that I covered as a reporter.
Okay.
And let me tell you what the North Africans do to win. They want to win. They will do everything to win, North Africans. Now, they took us, the journalists, to a different hotel. Then they put the Super Eagles in a particular hotel upstairs, and then the whole of downstairs was a hall, and there was a wedding all night. It was noise all night. All our players could not sleep. Now, this is the idea. A lot of Africans will do. They did this to us recently now. When they took us to the different airports and then we had to sleep on the floor, that's how far they will go.
So do you think they are beginning to play mind games?
Let me make you a promise.
Okay, please.
If Morocco gets to the final of this Nations Cup, whoever they miss, they win.
I have something very close to that.
They will win.
I do think this Afcon ends with a North African winner. I do not know if it's Morocco.
Let's go to the permutation. I'm hoping we can see that because
I doubt it will be Morocco, but I think
if Morocco meets anybody in the finals, they will win.
I think it ends with a North African winner. Watch out for Morocco. Watch out for Egypt.
Algeria, Tunisia.
Well, maybe not Algeria. I think it's between Morocco, Egypt.
So Algeria sits in third position here as
Yeah.
favorites to lift this trophy. But Senegal, there's a West African country there.
Yeah, there are
you
two
writing
West
them off?
African countries to
Nigeria?
not write off, Nigeria and Senegal.
Yes.
Right? But again, I do not have my hopes up that Nigeria gets this trophy. Right? I've tried to look at this tournament as a building process, as a team for the future. If we are particular about wanting to win, wanting to dominate Africa, I'm looking at this tournament as the tournament we start our rebuilding process, right? So I'm not really expecting Nigeria to win, but I do expect us to perform well.
Okay.
But I do think that trophy is not leaving North Africa.
Okay, I would hold you both by your words. But let's look at the knockout prediction right now. What we've been able to place 1-2, 1-2 finish. Now, looking at that, most likely, as they say, for Algeria, into that quarterfinal, they're likely to face maybe DR Congo. Would DR Congo go past that round of 16? Do you see them?
It's a very dicey. I think there are three very dicey round of 16 games. DR Congo, Algeria, South Africa, Cameroon, and the one between Tunisia and Mali. Tunisia and Mali, they have so much Afcon history, right? So can't really tell where that one would swing. Cameroon, South Africa. South Africa has been on the rise recently, so you can't really say Cameroon of old or Cameroon of now. So chances are it could swing anyway. Same thing with DR Congo and Algeria. We are seeing a resurgent Algeria, but also there's the rise of DR Congo. From the last
did you see how
this.
Did you see how CAF made this possible not to have two North Africans? We know what happened when we have North Africans face.
I doubt they did it. I doubt they did it intentionally.
It was intentional because we can see that Mozambique has now been moved to the north region of Africa, and that's why they have Nigeria. Look at the matchups from the round of 16.
Again, Onyechi, I mean, a team could have done poorly and finished in a position they would have met another. So again, let's leave. There would always be those conversations about, oh, they did this, they did that. But come on, it was also on the teams to perform to avoid.
But it's intentional because you know what happened. There's always chaos when you have two North Africans. You know.
Yes, because they both always want to win and they will go the extra mile. Negative extra mile.
Chaos. So it's not all about playing mind games. It's just avoiding that chaos on the pitch of play. We know what happened to Tunisia when they defeated us in the round of 16 and they went to the next stage. I think they played Egypt. Yes, Egypt. Yeah. It was chaos on the pitch of play. So CAF sometimes, and you don't want to put Morocco and Algeria together. You know what will happen.
I'm sure they will.
And when Morocco is the host country,
you avoid yourself until the final.
Right, we have to call it a wrap on the show. Thank you, gentlemen. It's been an interesting one.
Thank you.
First for the year, and I think I had an interesting conversation on the show today. Wale Sport.
Good to be here.
Happy New Year again. Have you.
Happy New Year again.
Happy New Year to you once again, to Jidechi.
And don't ask me what I was going to today. You don't want to hear that one.
I'll reserve that information. Jidechi, thank you so much for joining me on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
I really appreciate you.